This 42-second teaser for the Mario vs. Donkey Kong remake just told us more about Nintendo's new design philosophy than you may expect. It has been confirmed that this remake will include brand new content, not repurposed content, straight up new levels. This is beyond what I expected for this game, and it speaks to a possible change in how Nintendo will be approaching remakes and perhaps how they will approach game design as a whole. So let's predict what this trailer means for Nintendo games moving forward. So the new trailer starts off pretty normal. The first pop-up mentions 130 levels. Sounds like a lot, but I've played the original Mario vs. Donkey Kong, and I know these levels are kinda small, so 130 is a decent amount, but in no ways massive. Then it gets to the good stuff. New worlds and new obstacles. We'll discuss that soon. Then it shows a few other things. There's an easy mode, which I think is a good addition. The easy mode not only lets you retry, it also removes the timer. If you had young kids, I probably would have recommended having them skip this game. The puzzles are actually kinda tricky, but now with this mode, I'd recommend giving it to them. Then it mentions the local co-op play. This is something we already knew from the initial trailer. The way co-op works in this game is that the locked door becomes double locked, and the players have to find 2 keys instead of 1, with 1 key having to be picked up and the other flying behind the person who found it. What this trailer reveals that we didn't know before is that Mario can pick up the small key and Toad can pick up the large key. In the initial trailer, it seemed like only Toad could get the small key and only Mario could get the large one, since we didn't see this vice versa scenario. I do think it's a little obnoxious of Nintendo to shove the whole local co-op in your face. Seriously, you can't make it so you can connect to someone else who has the game over the internet to play co-op? What a joke. The fact that they have to highlight the word local means that they're aware that people would want to connect through the internet, but just aren't willing to hand over that feature. Even though it seems Nintendo is not improving in the internet department, this trailer and their behavior as a whole speaks to a major improvement in how they will be designing their games moving forward, especially remakes. I've spoken before on this channel of the late Wii into Wii U era where Mario games got a little too safe, but the Wii U sales numbers may have spoken to Nintendo about how playing it safe isn't always the best option. So with the Switch, we started to see more risky titles like Super Mario Odyssey and now Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Many of these games also play it safe in other ways, but not as safe as before, and the current design choices hint at a better future. But before we get into discussing a brighter future, let's discuss a dark moment of the past that I think is relevant to this discussion. Do you remember Super Mario 3D All-Stars? Maybe you don't, because it was a limited release. I cannot get over how cynical this game is. They just put 3 games on the Switch. That's it. They took games, did almost nothing with them, and put them on the Switch. They even forgot that one of those games had a sequel. The reason I'm bringing up Super Mario 3D All-Stars is to say that these updates in Mario vs. Donkey Kong are a step in the right direction away from games like this. Strange that a little GBA puzzle game is getting better attention than 3 of Nintendo's largest games ever, but I think that speaks to how far the design choices have come in just the past few years. I don't want to see old games in new graphics only. It's not enough to just update graphics. Graphics are easy to update. Just look at the Mario and Luigi remakes on the 3DS. Those are just the same game with a side game, an awful one at that, slapped on the side. There's been a trend with Nintendo remakes and ports for them to be the game itself plus something. Another example of this is Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. Nothing was added to 3D World itself when it was moved to the Switch. Instead, there was a completely separate side mode. Now, this is fine for a port. The original 3D World was a big game, and it didn't release too long from the re-release, and it originally released on a console that most Switch owners don't have. It seems with the Mario vs. Donkey Kong remake, instead of it being Mario vs. Donkey Kong plus DK's Minions, they are adding in new content straight into the main game. And I don't feel the need to speculate because the game will be out soon. The more interesting discussion is how this content will affect future remakes. And there is one future remake that everyone is itching to know what we'll do with its content. So it's time to return to discussing the Toad. Currently, just about everything we've seen for the Thousand Year Door remake have been the enhanced graphics of things we already know, except for this purple Toad right here. Worst case scenario, this Toad just speaks some filler dialogue, but come on. There's tons of NPCs that already do that. Would they really design a whole NPC for the remake that doesn't actually do anything? The reason I am bringing up this Toad in relation to the new worlds in Mario vs. Donkey Kong is that I think that this Toad's use in the Thousand Year Door remake will align with extra content exclusive to that remake. The Mario vs. Donkey Kong remake and the Thousand Year Door remake were revealed during the same Nintendo Direct. The only difference is that Thousand Year Door was the finale to that Direct. Makes sense. People are going to be more excited about a highly well-received RPG from a home console than a little puzzle game that was released for a portable console. Mario vs. Donkey Kong is the little brother remake in this scenario, so with that in mind, I ask, would Nintendo really add new content into Mario vs. Donkey Kong, but keep Paper Mario Thousand Year Door the same? All this says is that we are most likely going to see some new content implemented into the Thousand Year Door. I still can't say for sure it'll happen since, come on, this is Nintendo we're talking about. But I will say that this trailer all but tells us that Thousand Year Door will get the same treatment. What will be the new content in Thousand Year Door? Who's to say? But that photo of the Nintendo 64 partners might be giving us a hint. Or is it just a piece of set dressing? Hey, if you like this video on the Mario series, maybe you'd be interested in seeing a video on some retro bosses who need to make a return. Or if you want to actually watch me play the games, check out my live channel. We've got a video on there where we try to take out all the singing piranha plants. It was trickier than you'd think. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.